Tilikum was the largest orca ever held in captivity, a giant of the ocean, confined to a concrete world. His immense presence was both awe-inspiring and tragic, a living paradox of power and vulnerability. In the wild, orcas like Tilikum roam vast stretches of ocean, but here his world was reduced to a fraction of its natural size. His collapsed dorsal fin and immense size made him the star of SeaWorld Orlando, the face of a multi-billion-dollar brand. Audiences flocked to see him leap and perform. Unaware of the toll captivity was taking on his mind and body, Tilikum became a symbol, both of entertainment and of the hidden costs behind the spectacle. But behind the spectacle was a much darker story. The bright lights and applause masked a reality of isolation, frustration, and suffering that few could imagine. Tilikum was an intelligent being, his life marked by trauma and loss. He experienced emotions, joy, grief, loneliness, just as we do. But his world was shaped by forces beyond his control. Born in the wild North Atlantic, he was taken from his family and thrust into captivity. The moment of his capture was the beginning of a lifelong separation from everything he knew and loved. Orcas are highly social, living in complex pods with deep emotional bonds and unique cultures. Their families are everything. Each pod has its own language, traditions, and ways of life, passed down through generations. Tilikum's journey from wild calf to theme park attraction is a story of profound loss and the conflict of keeping such animals in artificial environments. Every stage of his journey, from capture to transport, from isolation to performance, left deep marks on his spirit. His story forces us to confront difficult questions about entertainment, animal welfare, and our relationship with nature. What do we sacrifice for our amusement, and at what cost to the creatures we claim to love? To understand Tilikum, you must first understand the world he was taken from, a world of freedom, family, and the open sea. This is the untold story of Tilikum, beyond the shows, beyond the brand. It is a story that challenges us to look deeper, to see the individual behind the performance. His life is a powerful testament to the consequences of taking intelligent, emotional animals from the ocean and forcing them into a life of performance and confinement. Tilikum's legacy is a call to reflect on our choices and to imagine a future where wild creatures remain wild and their stories are told with truth and compassion. In November 1983, off the coast of Iceland, a young orca calf swam with his family, unaware of the danger approaching. The waters were cold but familiar, a sanctuary where he felt safe and protected by his pod. Tilikum's world was one of freedom, family, and sound, until the capture boats arrived. The harmony of the ocean was shattered by the roar of engines and the splash of nets hitting the water. Hunters used spotter planes and underwater explosives to herd the pod into a fjord, creating chaos and terror. The once peaceful waters turned into a scene of confusion and fear. Amid the panic, Tilikum was separated from his mother, his calls lost in the noise. The bond that had been his lifeline was severed in an instant. The young orcas were corralled, lifted from the water, and taken from their families forever. The cries of the captured calves echoed in the fjord, a haunting sound of loss and despair. For Tilikum, this was the last time he would see his family, or the ocean. The vast open sea was replaced by the confines of captivity. He was kept in a concrete tank near Reykjavik, alone and awaiting sale to a marine park. The once vibrant and dynamic world of the ocean was now a small, barren enclosure. The name Tilikum, meaning friend, was a cruel irony for a calf torn from everyone he knew. His new reality was one of isolation and confinement. In that stark tank, he learned his first lesson of captivity, utter isolation. The social bonds that defined his existence were replaced by cold, unfeeling walls. The complex social world he was born into was gone, replaced by silence and confinement. The vibrant sounds of the ocean were now a distant memory. His journey into captivity had begun with trauma and loss. The trauma of capture was just the beginning of a life filled with suffering. The ocean's freedom was replaced by the walls of a concrete box. The life he had known was stolen, replaced by a reality of confinement and isolation. In late 1984, Tilikum, a young orca taken from the wild, was sold to Sealand of the Pacific in British Columbia. This move would mark the beginning of a long and painful chapter in his life, one that would shape his future in ways no one could have predicted. The facility was shockingly small, with a pool barely larger than Tilikum himself. The confined space was a far cry from the vast ocean he once called home, and it offered little room for comfort or escape. He was forced to share this cramped environment with two older, dominant females, Haida II and Nootka IV. The social dynamics were tense and unforgiving. In the wild, orca social structures are complex and family-based, but at Sealand, Tilikum was relentlessly bullied by his tank mates, with no way to escape the constant aggression. He was covered in painful rake marks, deep scratches left by the teeth of the other orcas, a daily reminder of his low status and the violence he endured. At night, the orcas were locked in an even smaller, pitch-black holding pool. In this darkness, Tilikum had no escape from the aggression, and the stress only intensified. Chronic fear and anxiety became his reality. The psychological toll of isolation, bullying, and confinement began to take hold, leaving Tilikum withdrawn and deeply stressed. In 1991, tragedy struck. Trainer Kelty Burns slipped and fell into the pool, and was drowned by the orcas, with Tilikum involved in the incident. The world was shocked, and questions about captivity grew louder. Sealand closed soon after, unable to recover from the tragedy, and Tilikum was put up for sale, his fate once again uncertain. The incident was a stark warning. These captive animals, deprived of their natural lives, were unpredictable and could be dangerous when pushed to their limits. For Tilikum, it was another turning point in a life already marked by trauma and loss, deepening the scars he carried both inside and out. His journey would soon take him to SeaWorld, where his story and his suffering would continue on an even larger stage. After Sealand closed, Tilikum was purchased by SeaWorld Orlando in 1992. The move was billed as a fresh start, but the fundamental problems of captivity remained. SeaWorld's pools were larger, but still inadequate for an orca's needs. In the wild, orcas travel vast distances. At SeaWorld, Tilikum's world was a series of concrete tanks. Social stress continued. He was bullied by dominant females and often isolated for his own safety. Despite his troubled past, SeaWorld valued Tilikum for his genetics. He became the cornerstone of their captive breeding program, siring numerous calves. Even when his behavior was too unpredictable for performances, he remained central to SeaWorld's business. The cycle of confinement and exploitation continued, just in a new setting. Tilikum's life at SeaWorld would be defined by isolation, stress, and a role he never chose. At SeaWorld, Tilikum became the ultimate showman, his size making him the highlight of the Shamu shows. For the audience, his splash was thrilling. For Tilikum, it was monotonous routine. Day after day, he performed the same behaviors for food rewards. In the wild, orcas' lives are filled with variety and purpose, hunting, socializing, exploring. In captivity, Tilikum's world was a sterile loop of training sessions and shows. The lack of stimulation led to psychological distress. He developed stereotypic behaviors, floating listlessly, chewing on concrete, wearing down his teeth. These were clear signs of suffering. The mental and physical toll of captivity was evident in every aspect of his life. Tilikum's existence was a shadow of what it should have been. The cost of entertainment was his well-being. From the start, trainers were warned about Tilikum's unpredictable behavior. His involvement in Kelty Burns' death meant strict protocols, no water work, no close contact. Yet Tilikum's unpredictability was a constant concern. He could be cooperative one moment, agitated the next, sometimes displaying subtle aggression. In 1999, a man named Daniel Dukes was found dead in Tilikum's pool, another chilling reminder of the risks. Despite these incidents, pressure mounted to include Tilikum more in shows. Over time, safety protocols eroded, trainers got closer, performing from pool ledges. Eventually, waterwork was reintroduced, underestimating the deep trauma Tilikum carried. The desire for spectacle overshadowed the warnings. Tilikum's history of aggression was ignored in pursuit of a better show. The stage was set for tragedy. The consequences would be devastating. On February 24, 2010, SeaWorld Orlando was rocked by tragedy. Senior trainer Dawn Brancheau was killed by Tilikum after a routine session. In front of an audience, Tilikum pulled her into the water and refused to let go. The attack was violent and prolonged, ending in Dawn's death. SeaWorld initially tried to frame it as an accident, but eyewitnesses and autopsy reports told a different story. This was the third human death linked to Tilikum. The incident forced a public reckoning. No longer could the risks be hidden. OSHA launched an investigation, and the illusion of harmony between trainers and orcas was shattered. Dawn's death became a turning point, not just for Tilikum, but for the entire industry. The debate over the ethics of orca captivity was now impossible to ignore. The world was finally paying attention. After Dawn's death, SeaWorld faced immediate and drastic changes. OSHA banned trainers from waterwork with orcas, ending the iconic Shamu shows as they were known. Tilikum was isolated, and SeaWorld's practices came under intense scrutiny. The documentary brought Tilikum's story to a global audience, exposing the dark side of captivity. Public outrage followed. The Blackfish effect devastated SeaWorld's reputation and finances. Attendance dropped, sponsors left, and the company was forced to change. In 2016, SeaWorld announced the end of its orca breeding program and theatrical shows. Tilikum, at the center of it all, had sparked a movement. His story changed the conversation about animal captivity forever. The industry would never be the same. Tilikum spent his final years in decline, suffering from illness and isolation. He died in 2017 at age 36, far younger than wild orcas often live. His life, from wild freedom to a concrete tank, was marked by loss and exploitation. Tilikum's legacy is both tragic and transformative. He was a victim of an industry that valued profit over welfare. His story, and the public outcry it inspired, forced SeaWorld to end captive breeding. No more orcas will be born into a life of performance at SeaWorld. Tilikum's collapsed dorsal fin became a symbol of captivity's cost. His suffering helped free future generations from the same fate. His story is a powerful lesson. Such magnificent creatures belong in the wild, not in our theme parks. Tilikum's legacy is a solemn reminder of the price of entertainment. Some people find their calling early, almost as if it's written in the stars, waiting to be discovered. For Dawn Brancheau, that calling came from the water, from the mysterious world beneath the surface that fascinated her as a child. Growing up in landlocked Indiana, the ocean seemed a distant dream. But a family trip to SeaWorld Orlando when she was just 9 years old changed everything for Dawn. Watching the orcas and their trainers perform, she felt a spark ignite inside her. A dream was born that day, one she would pursue with unwavering determination. Dawn became fascinated by the intelligence and grace of marine mammals. She focused her studies on psychology and animal behavior, understanding that knowledge would be essential for working with these incredible creatures. Her journey began with humble tasks at Six Flags Great Adventure, where she worked with dolphins, learning the realities of animal care and the patience it required. Dawn embraced every challenge, no matter how small, seeing each as a vital step toward her ultimate goal of working with orcas. Her passion wasn't for the spotlight or the applause, but for the animals themselves, their well-being, their trust, and their unique personalities. She wanted to truly understand their minds, to learn their language, and to build a bond based on respect and trust. These early years, filled with hard work and learning, shaped her into a dedicated, knowledgeable trainer who never lost sight of her dream. Dawn's story is about purpose, perseverance, and a deep love for marine life, a passion that started far from the ocean, but grew stronger with every step she took. She walked a long road from Indiana to the world stage, but every step was taken with intention, courage, and a heart full of hope for the creatures she loved. In 1994, Dawn's lifelong dream finally became reality. She joined SeaWorld as an apprentice, stepping through the gates with a heart full of hope and excitement. It was the beginning of a journey she'd imagined since childhood, and every moment felt like a new adventure. But the journey was just beginning. She started at the Sea Lion and Otter Stadium, far from the orcas she longed to work with. The work was demanding and often unglamorous, but Dawn embraced every challenge, knowing it was a crucial first step. Dawn approached every role with professionalism and enthusiasm, mastering the art of animal care and training. She learned to communicate with the animals, to read their moods, and to anticipate their needs, developing skills that would serve her for years to come. She spent years proving herself, learning, observing, and building a reputation for excellence. Dawn watched senior trainers closely, absorbing every lesson, and never shied away from extra hours or difficult tasks. In 1996, after tireless dedication, she was finally promoted to work with the orcas, the animals that had inspired her dream in the first place. Even then, the process was slow and methodical. Months of observation, assisting senior trainers, and building rapport from the poolside. Dawn knew that trust with these powerful animals had to be earned, not given. Trust and safety were paramount, and Dawn's dedication set her apart. She was meticulous about protocols, always putting the well-being of both animals and trainers first. She developed a deep, intuitive connection with the animals, earning respect from colleagues and supervisors alike. Her gentle approach and patience allowed her to form bonds that few others could. Her rise through the ranks was a testament to her work ethic and passion. Dawn's commitment was recognized with awards and the admiration of her peers. Dawn wasn't just following a script, she was forging real relationships with the orcas, learning their personalities and quirks, and celebrating every breakthrough, no matter how small. Her journey at SeaWorld proved that relentless passion and hard work can turn childhood dreams into reality. She became a role model for young girls who watched her, wide-eyed, from the stands. Every day was a step closer to the Shamu Stadium she'd once watched as a child, a reminder that dreams are built one day, one challenge, and one triumph at a time. Dawn's story is one of perseverance, patience, and purpose, a shining example of what's possible when you never give up on what you love. Being an orca trainer is a unique blend of science and art, requiring not just technical skill, but also a deep sense of empathy and intuition. Dawn Brancheau was a shining example of someone who excelled at both aspects, setting a standard for trainers everywhere. She became an expert in operant conditioning, rewarding desired behaviors with fish, treats, or tactile rewards, and always reinforcing positive interactions. But her true gift went beyond training techniques. Dawn built genuine, lasting bonds of trust with each orca she worked with, forming relationships that were both professional and deeply personal. Every whale had its own unique personality, quirks, and preferences, and Dawn took the time to understand and adapt her approach to each individual animal. Her intuitive understanding of the orca's moods and needs set her apart, allowing her to connect with them on a level that few others could achieve. These relationships weren't just for show, they were absolutely essential for the daily care, enrichment, and medical procedures that kept the orcas healthy and thriving. Thanks to Dawn's skill and patience, she could ask orcas to participate in health checks and medical routines without causing them stress or fear. She often spent extra time with the animals outside of shows, believing that quiet, unhurried moments were just as important as the public performances. Her approach was a careful balance of scientific precision, observation, and genuine affection for the orcas in her care. Dawn was more than just a trainer. She was a caregiver, a mentor, and a true partner to the orcas she worked with every day. Her remarkable success was rooted in respect, consistency, and a deep, unwavering love for the animals she dedicated her life to. In every way, Dawn embodied the very best of what animal training can be: compassionate, skilled, and truly inspiring. Over 16 years, Dawn became the face of Shamu Stadium. Her athleticism, radiant smile, and connection with the orcas made her a star performer and a beloved ambassador. She executed complex, breathtaking behaviors that left audiences in awe, masking the immense skill and risk involved. Behind the scenes, Dawn was a mentor, guiding junior trainers, instilling professionalism, and prioritizing animal welfare. She inspired guests, especially children, sharing her passion and encouraging interest in marine life. Dawn understood her role as both entertainer and educator. She paid forward the inspiration she'd received as a child, hoping to spark new dreams. For millions, Dawn Brancheau was the ultimate SeaWorld trainer. Her legacy was built on leadership, kindness, and a deep bond with the animals. To understand Dawn's story, you must know Tilikum, the largest orca in captivity, with a troubled past. Captured in Iceland in 1983, Tilikum's life was marked by tragedy, including involvement in a trainer's death before arriving at SeaWorld. Special protocols were put in place. Trainers weren't allowed in the water with him for years. Tilikum's immense size and unique temperament required exceptional skill and patience. Only the most experienced trainers worked with him. Dawn was one of them. She developed a strong, positive bond with Tilikum, understanding his moods and motivations. Their relationship was built from the poolside, using trust and careful training. Dawn's ability to work with Tilikum set her apart, demonstrating her mastery and intuition. She respected his power and always followed strict safety protocols. Her success with Tilikum was a testament to her expertise. Dawn could build trust even with the most challenging animals. By 2010, protocols around Tilikum evolved, allowing limited water work for senior trainers like Dawn. These sessions were calm, controlled, and focused on reinforcing trust, far from the acrobatics of public shows. Dawn's years of patient work culminated in these quiet, private interactions. Her calm presence and expertise made her relationship with Tilikum special. These moments, unseen by the public, were the true foundation of their bond. Dawn's work with Tilikum was considered a model of modern animal training. It was a relationship built on respect, expertise, and genuine affection. This context is crucial to understanding what happened next. On February 24, 2010, Dawn finished a dine with SeaWorld and moved to a post-show session with Tilikum. The atmosphere was calm as she lay on a submerged ledge, talking to and rubbing Tilikum. Suddenly, Tilikum grabbed her by the ponytail and pulled her into the water. The event was swift and shocking. No one saw it coming. Emergency protocols were activated immediately, but Tilikum did not respond to commands. Despite the team's efforts, they could not save Dawn. The official cause of death was drowning and traumatic injuries. The tragedy stunned SeaWorld and the world. How could this happen to someone so skilled and careful? The calm of an ordinary afternoon was shattered forever. Dawn's death would change everything. Dawn's death sent shockwaves through SeaWorld and the animal care community. Colleagues mourned the loss of a mentor, leader, and friend. Her reputation was impeccable. She was a role model for trainers everywhere. The public grieved too. Dawn had inspired millions with her passion and joy. Vigils and memorials appeared outside the park, filled with flowers and heartfelt notes. SeaWorld suspended all orca shows and in-water work, focusing on staff care and safety reviews. The tragedy forced the industry to confront difficult questions about keeping orcas in captivity. Dawn's loss marked a turning point, a moment of deep reflection and change. Her legacy was felt in every corner of the zoological world. The community mourned, but also began to reconsider its future. Dawn's impact would shape the industry for years to come. Her memory lived on in the hearts of those she inspired. Dawn Brancheau's legacy is one of passion, dedication, and inspiration. She pursued her childhood dream and became a symbol of excellence in animal care. Her death led to sweeping changes. Trainers were permanently banned from in-water orca work. The SeaWorld show was forever altered and public perception shifted. The documentary Blackfish used her story to spark debate about orca captivity, accelerating change at SeaWorld. In 2016, SeaWorld ended its orca breeding program, a monumental shift. Dawn's family honors her through the Dawn Brancheau Foundation, supporting causes she loved. Her story is a powerful lesson about the bond between humans and animals, and the respect that bond demands. Dawn remains a symbol of a life lived with purpose and heart. Her legacy continues to inspire and provoke important conversations about our relationship with the wild. February 24, 2010, began as a typical sunny day at SeaWorld Orlando. The park buzzed with excitement as families and tourists poured in, eager to experience the magic of marine life up close. The air was filled with laughter, anticipation, and the promise of unforgettable memories. At SeaWorld Stadium, guests enjoyed the Dine with SeaWorld event, savoring their meals while watching orcas glide gracefully through the sparkling water. The atmosphere was festive, with children pressing their faces to the glass, mesmerized by the sheer size and beauty of the killer whales. Dawn Brancheau, a senior trainer with 16 years of experience, was finishing a routine session with Tilikum, the park's largest and most powerful orca. She was well respected, admired for her deep bond with the animals and her unwavering dedication to their care. She lay on a shallow platform, interacting with the massive whale as the audience looked on, captivated by the trust and connection between human and animal. For many, it was a moment of awe, a glimpse into a world few ever see. Suddenly, the calm shattered. Tilikum seized Dawn and pulled her with terrifying force into the deep water. The peaceful scene was instantly replaced by chaos and confusion. Witnesses were unsure if he grabbed her by the ponytail or arm, but Dawn was now at the mercy of the enormous animal. Gasps and screams echoed through the stadium as the reality of the situation set in. Panic erupted as the music stopped and the illusion of harmony vanished. The trainers, trained for emergencies, rushed to the pool's edge, desperately signaling and shouting commands. But nothing could break Tilikum's grip. Trainers and guests watched in disbelief as the situation turned deadly. Some parents shielded their children's eyes, while others stood frozen, unable to process the horror unfolding before them. Dawn, known for her expertise and caution, was powerless against Tilikum's strength. Despite her years of experience and training, she was caught in a struggle no human could win. This was no performance, just the raw, unpredictable force of a wild animal. The boundaries between entertainment and danger had vanished in an instant. The pool, once a symbol of fun and wonder, became a scene of terror and helplessness. The water, usually sparkling and inviting, now seemed dark and foreboding. The trainers' frantic attempts to intervene were futile. Every second felt like an eternity, as they tried everything in their power to save their colleague. The audience was ushered out, but the horror lingered. Many left in tears, clutching loved ones, haunted by what they had witnessed. In seconds, a routine interaction had become a nightmare, shattering the illusion of safety that had drawn so many to SeaWorld that day. The tragedy at Shamu Stadium would change SeaWorld forever, leaving a scar on the park and raising questions about the risks of keeping such powerful creatures in captivity. As Dawn was pulled into the water, SeaWorld's emergency protocols kicked in. Trainers rushed to the pool, slapping the water and calling Tilikum's name, desperate to distract him. Tilikum ignored every command, holding Dawn tightly and swimming erratically. The trainers tried an underwater recall tone, but Tilikum was unresponsive. He kept Dawn away from the pool's edge, thwarting every rescue attempt. Nets were dropped in, but Tilikum's power and agitation made intervention impossible. The trainers, helpless, watched as their colleague was brutalized. Every failed attempt deepened the sense of dread. The controlled environment had become a deadly arena. Tilikum's behavior was unpredictable and violent. The trainers' training and courage were no match for the whale's strength. The struggle for Dawn's life was slipping away. The horror unfolding was beyond anything they had ever prepared for. The ordeal lasted 45 agonizing minutes, each second stretching into eternity for those who witnessed it. Time seemed to slow, every tick of the clock echoing the mounting desperation in the air. Tilikum refused to release Dawn, dragging her relentlessly through the water. He surfaced and dove again and again, his immense power on full display, while trainers shouted and signaled in vain, unable to break his grip. Trainers and emergency staff worked frantically, their hope fading with each minute. The poolside was a scene of chaos, shouts, alarms, and the frantic splashing of water as every available hand tried to help. The rescue plan shifted as the situation grew more dire. They decided to isolate Tilikum in the medical pool, hoping to separate him from Dawn and gain some control. Using hydraulic gates, staff tried to guide him away from the main pool, their movements precise but urgent. Every second counted, and the tension was palpable. Tilikum resisted, agitated and possessive, thrashing in the water and ignoring commands. His agitation only heightened the danger for everyone involved. Eventually, after what felt like an eternity, they managed to lure him into the smaller pool using buckets of fish and persistent signals. The team began raising the floor to immobilize him, a delicate and risky maneuver. Only then, with Tilikum finally contained, could they approach and retrieve Dawn from the water, hearts pounding with dread. The full extent of the tragedy became clear as they freed her from Tilikum's jaws. The reality of what had happened began to sink in for everyone present. By then, it was too late. Dawn had not survived. Grief and disbelief swept over the team, leaving them numb and devastated. The attack was prolonged and violent, not a brief accident. It was a harrowing ordeal that would leave scars on everyone who witnessed it. The stadium fell silent, heavy with shock and grief. The crowd, once filled with excitement, was now frozen in horror, unable to comprehend the tragedy that had unfolded before their eyes. The trainers' worst fears had come true. The bond they shared with these animals was shattered in an instant, replaced by sorrow and fear. The power and danger of keeping such predators in captivity was undeniable. The incident forced everyone to confront the risks inherent in these performances. The aftermath would haunt SeaWorld and its staff for years to come, leaving questions, regrets, and a legacy of loss that could never be erased. Dawn Brancheau was pronounced dead at the scene, her injuries severe and traumatic. The news stunned SeaWorld and the global community of marine trainers. Guests, including children, had witnessed the horror firsthand. Media coverage was immediate and intense, making headlines worldwide. The public struggled to reconcile the image of friendly orcas with the reality of the attack. Debate erupted. Was this a freak accident, or the result of keeping wild predators in captivity? SeaWorld called it an accident, but witnesses disputed the official account. The tragedy forced a global conversation about the ethics and safety of orca captivity. The smiling orca shows were now seen in a darker light. The world began to question the morality of the entire industry. To understand the tragedy, we must look at Tilikum's past, a past filled with trauma and hardship. Born in the wild off Iceland, he was captured at age 2 in a traumatic roundup. This violent separation from his family marked the beginning of a life in captivity. Separated from his family, Tilikum was sent to Sealand of the Pacific in Canada. The journey was long and stressful, further adding to his trauma. There, he was confined with 2 dominant females in a cramped pool. The space was inadequate for such large, intelligent creatures. The females bullied him relentlessly, and he had no escape. The constant harassment left physical and emotional scars. Trainers used food deprivation as a training method, creating a tense environment. This method of control only added to his stress and frustration. At night, the orcas were kept in a tiny, dark, holding tank. The lack of space and social interaction was detrimental to their well-being. The stress and isolation shaped Tilikum's behavior. He became increasingly withdrawn and aggressive. He was not a happy performer, but a stressed, intelligent predator in an unnatural world. His performances masked the deep-seated issues caused by his captivity. His capture and years of torment left deep scars. Both his body and mind bore the marks of his suffering. Tilikum's story is not one of evil, but of a wild animal forced into captivity. His actions were a result of the unnatural conditions he was subjected to. His early trauma is key to understanding what happened later. The pain and suffering he endured set the stage for future tragedies. The consequences would be devastating for both whale and humans. Tilikum's story serves as a poignant reminder of the impact of captivity on wild animals. Dawn's death was not Tilikum's first fatal encounter with a human. In 1991 at Sealand, trainer Kelty Byrne fell into the pool with Tilikum and 2 females. The whales prevented her escape and she drowned before help could arrive. Sealand closed and Tilikum was sold to SeaWorld Orlando. In 1999, Daniel Dukes was found dead in Tilikum's tank after sneaking in overnight. He had been dragged and played with by the whale, leading to his death. Both incidents were warnings of Tilikum's potential danger. Despite this, he continued to perform and interact with trainers. The 2010 tragedy was the 3rd fatality linked to Tilikum. His history raised serious questions about SeaWorld's safety protocols. Why was a whale with such a record still allowed close contact with trainers? The pattern was clear, but the risks were ignored. After Dawn's death, SeaWorld faced intense scrutiny and a federal investigation. OSHA found SeaWorld had knowingly exposed trainers to lethal risks. The legal battle that followed centered on whether the tragedy was preventable. The court sided with OSHA, leading to sweeping changes. Trainers were banned from entering the water with orcas during shows. The iconic Shamu performances were fundamentally altered. Trainers now interacted with whales only from behind barriers. Tilikum was retired from performing, kept mostly in isolation. SeaWorld's brand and business model were shaken to the core. The tragedy forced the company into a defensive, uncertain future. The story didn't fade. Blackfish, a 2013 documentary, reignited the debate. The film explored Tilikum's life and the deaths linked to him, exposing the dark side of orca captivity. Former trainers spoke out, and the film's emotional impact was global. Blackfish sparked protests, celebrity boycotts, and a massive public backlash. SeaWorld's attendance and revenue plummeted. The company tried to counter the film, but public opinion had shifted. The Blackfish effect forced SeaWorld to announce the end of its orca breeding program in 2016. Theatrical orca shows were phased out, replaced by educational encounters. The tragedy in the film changed the industry forever. The era of captive orca entertainment was ending. The world demanded a new standard for animal welfare. Tilikum spent his final years in isolation, dying in 2017 after decades in captivity. His life was marked by tragedy, for himself, his victims, and the industry. He was both a killer and a victim, shaped by confinement and trauma. Dawn Brancheau is remembered as a dedicated, passionate trainer. Her death forced a reckoning in the marine park world. New safety measures were implemented, and the risks of captivity were exposed. Their story became a catalyst for change and a cautionary tale. The events of 2010, amplified by Blackfish, transformed public perception. The era of theatrical orca shows ended as a direct result. Tilikum and Dawn's legacy is a more critical, compassionate conversation about our relationship with wild animals. Their story reminds us of the cost when the line between human and nature is crossed. February 24, 2010. Dawned bright and warm at SeaWorld Orlando. The park buzzed with excitement as families streamed through the gates, eager for a day of unforgettable memories. For many, the highlight was the Dine with Shamu show, a unique chance to see the park's most famous orca up close, performing alongside his trainers. The air was filled with laughter, anticipation, and the promise of wonder. The star of the show was Tilikum, a massive orca whose size and presence captivated everyone. He was the largest orca in captivity, and his performances were legendary. At his side was Dawn Brancheau, a seasoned trainer known for her deep bond with the animals and her infectious enthusiasm. As the show drew to a close, Dawn and Tilikum shared a quiet moment on the shallow ledge, a routine they had practiced countless times. The trust between them seemed unbreakable, a testament to years of training and mutual respect. But in an instant, everything changed. Without warning, Tilikum grabbed Dawn and pulled her into the water. The stadium erupted in chaos as guests and staff realized something had gone terribly wrong. Despite desperate rescue efforts, it was too late. Dawn Brancheau, beloved by her colleagues and adored by guests, had lost her life in front of a stunned audience. The loss was immediate and profound, leaving the SeaWorld community in mourning. The park was swiftly evacuated, and a wave of shock and disbelief swept through SeaWorld and far beyond its gates. News of the tragedy spread rapidly, leaving the world searching for answers. This was more than a tragic accident. It shattered the illusion of safety and harmony between humans and orcas. The relationship, once celebrated, was now under intense scrutiny. As details emerged, Tilikum's troubled past, including his involvement in 2 previous deaths, came to light. The incident forced the public to confront difficult questions about the ethics and consequences of keeping such powerful, intelligent creatures in captivity. The tragedy exposed the hidden costs of our desire to be entertained by these majestic animals. It marked a turning point, sparking a global conversation about animal welfare, captivity, and the true price of spectacle. Dawn's tragic death sent shockwaves around the world, sparking an immediate and passionate outcry from the public, animal rights activists, and even former SeaWorld employees. Vigils were held in her memory, and social media erupted with calls for justice and change. SeaWorld, once a beloved destination for families, suddenly found itself at the center of a storm. The company's practices, long accepted by many, were now under intense scrutiny from all sides. Sympathy for Dawn and her family quickly turned to outrage as the public demanded answers. How could such a tragedy occur in a place meant to entertain and educate? Were trainers ever truly safe working with such powerful animals? In response, OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, launched a comprehensive investigation. Their findings were damning. SeaWorld had knowingly exposed its trainers to life-threatening hazards, failing to provide adequate protections. The legal battle that followed was intense and highly publicized. For the first time, SeaWorld's internal documents and records of past incidents were brought into the public eye, revealing a troubling pattern of risk and denial. Ultimately, the court sided with OSHA, issuing a landmark ruling that banned trainers from entering the water with orcas. This decision fundamentally changed the nature of SeaWorld's shows and the relationship between humans and captive orcas. Although the fine imposed on SeaWorld was later reduced, the precedent was set. The government had officially condemned the risks inherent in human orca performances, sending a clear message to the industry. SeaWorld's signature attraction, once a symbol of wonder and excitement, was now seen by many as fundamentally unsafe and ethically questionable. the fallout extended far beyond financial losses. The tragedy marked a turning point for the entire marine park industry, forcing companies and the public alike to reconsider the future of animal entertainment. In the end, Dawn's death forced a global reckoning with the dangers and ethics of keeping orcas in captivity, igniting a movement that would forever change how we view these magnificent creatures. Dawn's death ignited a national debate: should orcas be kept in captivity at all? People learned that wild orcas live in close-knit pods, travel vast distances, and communicate with complex sounds, none of which captivity can replicate. In tanks, orcas are isolated, often forced into artificial groups, leading to stress and aggression. Tilikum's own history, captured young, bullied, and isolated, became a symbol of captivity's toll. Tricks once seen as playful were now viewed as forced behaviors, raising questions about the animal's well-being. The public began to see the shows not as harmless fun, but as exploitation. The conversation shifted from safety to the morality of confining such intelligent social beings for entertainment. The tragedy forced society to confront the ethical cost of our amusement. The aftermath brought sweeping changes to trainer safety at SeaWorld. Waterwork, trainers swimming with orcas, was banned, ending decades of close-contact performances. Trainers now interacted from poolside, using new techniques and safety equipment. Fast-lifting pool floors and emergency protocols were introduced to further reduce risk. The philosophy shifted from managing risk to eliminating it wherever possible. Some trainers mourned the loss of waterwork, believing it damaged their bond with the animals. But Dawn's death was a stark reminder: the risks were simply too great. The new rules prioritized human safety above all else, fundamentally changing the job. SeaWorld shows would never be the same. After the tragedy, Tilikum was removed from shows and kept in isolation, a stressful existence for a social animal. For an orca, whose life in the wild is defined by complex relationships and constant companionship, this sudden solitude was especially harsh. The once vibrant and interactive environment of his pod was replaced by the silence of a concrete tank, amplifying his loneliness and stress. Tilikum spent long hours floating listlessly, deprived of the mental stimulation and social bonds that are essential for orca well-being. Eventually, he returned to limited performances, but trainers never entered the water with him again. The shows were carefully choreographed to minimize risk, and Tilikum's interactions with humans became distant and controlled. The excitement and energy of earlier performances faded, replaced by a sense of caution and routine. The audience watched from afar, unaware of the tension and restrictions behind the scenes. His role was reduced to simple behaviors, always with strict safety barriers. Trainers used long poles and hand signals, never crossing the invisible line that separated them from the powerful animal. Tilikum's world shrank further, his days marked by repetition and the absence of meaningful connection. Tilikum's health declined, plagued by chronic infections and the physical effects of decades in captivity. Years of stress and confinement took a visible toll. His once sleek body became lethargic, and he suffered from dental problems, infections, and other ailments common among captive orcas. The sterile environment offered little relief or comfort. His collapsed dorsal fin became a symbol of the unnatural life he endured. In the wild, such a condition is rare, but in captivity, it's a common sign of poor health and restricted movement. For many, Tilikum's dorsal fin was a visual reminder of the cost of keeping these majestic animals in tanks. For years, his world was confined to a tank, far from the wild ocean where he was born. The endless expanse of the sea, filled with the sounds and sights of his natural home, was replaced by the echo of water against concrete walls. Tilikum's life became a shadow of what it could have been, his spirit dulled by captivity. In 2016, SeaWorld announced his health was failing. By January 2017, Tilikum had died at around 36 years old. His passing marked the end of a life shaped by human decisions, and his story resonated with people around the world. The empty tank he left behind became a powerful image of loss and reflection. His story became a cautionary tale about the consequences of captivity. Documentaries, protests, and public debates followed, sparking a movement that questioned the ethics of keeping orcas in marine parks. Tilikum's life inspired many to advocate for change and to demand better treatment for animals in captivity. Tilikum's life and death forced the world to confront the reality behind the spectacle. The joy and wonder of orca shows were forever changed as audiences began to see the suffering that often lies beneath the surface. His legacy endures as a symbol of the cost of entertainment, reminding us of the responsibility we have to the creatures we choose to display for our amusement. Tilikum's story continues to inspire reflection, compassion, and a call for a more humane future for all animals in captivity. Dawn Brancheau became more than a victim. She became a catalyst for change. Her death shattered SeaWorld's carefully crafted image of harmony between humans and orcas. Activists, scientists, and former trainers rallied around her story, arguing that her death was the inevitable result of captivity. The Dawn Brancheau Foundation, created by her family, honors her legacy through charity and animal welfare work. Dawn's story gave a face to the risks and ethical issues of marine entertainment. The public could no longer ignore the human and animal costs. Her legacy is a reminder of the wildness of nature and our responsibility to the animals in our care. Dawn's story marked a turning point in the public's perception of marine parks. The 2013 documentary Blackfish turned controversy into a movement. Centered on Tilikum's life and Dawn's death, the film featured former trainers exposing the dark side of orca captivity. Blackfish reached millions, revealing the trauma of capture, confinement, and forced performances. The Blackfish effect was immediate. SeaWorld's attendance and stock price plummeted, celebrities canceled appearances, and public opinion shifted. SeaWorld's attempts to discredit the film only fueled the backlash. Blackfish transformed a complex issue into a simple moral question. Should we keep orcas in captivity? The film's impact permanently changed the conversation around marine mammal entertainment. SeaWorld and similar parks could never return to business as usual. The legacy of Blackfish endures, shaping a new generation's view of animal ethics. Under mounting pressure, SeaWorld made dramatic changes. In 2016, it ended its orca breeding program, ensuring the current generation would be the last in captivity. Theatrical shows were phased out, replaced by educational presentations focused on natural behaviors and conservation. SeaWorld rebranded itself as a rescue and rehabilitation organization, highlighting its work-saving marine animals. The shift aimed to align the company with evolving public values. Critics argue that the core issue, confinement, remains unresolved, and safety concerns persist. SeaWorld's transformation is ongoing, balancing business needs with ethical expectations. The company's future depends on its ability to adapt in a post-Blackfish world. The legacy of captivity still haunts SeaWorld, but change is underway. The park's new direction reflects a society no longer willing to accept entertainment at any cost. The events sparked by Dawn's death and Blackfish have forever changed our relationship with captive marine mammals. Public skepticism has replaced blind acceptance, and animal welfare is now central to the conversation. Marine parks face pressure to evolve, with many shifting toward rescue, rehabilitation, and more humane habitats. The story of Tilikum and Dawn is a lasting lesson in the limits of control and the responsibility of captivity. It calls for empathy, humility, and a more ethical approach to our interactions with animals. SeaWorld's changes mark progress, but the debate continues. The legacy is one of tragedy, awareness, and the ongoing pursuit of a more compassionate future for marine life.